Hey guys, hi, good evening. It's Friday,
Hi.
it's PM. I am so happy. Hey Vinny, are you doing good?
Yes, great, Jackson. Thank you. It's been a racy day today, but we have made it.
Yeah, I'm so happy you could be on my show because you had a crazy schedule. I know it, but I'm so happy to see you live, Vinny. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So I hope you're excited.
I am actually. This looks like a proper stage set for us. So yes, waiting to
Good.
see it unfold.
Superb. So for all the viewers, thank you so much for joining. We've got people joining in. Today is Friday. It's 7 p.m. I'm so happy to be live. And I have been getting a lot of questions on Jackson how to manage time, or Jackson how to be more productive. People keep asking me, Jackson, we work so hard every day, but when we close the day, when we end the day, we are not happy. We're not excited that we had a productive day. So I thought, why not do a Facebook live on this? And I couldn't have asked a better person than Vinny. Vinny, for people who don't know Vinny, let me give a quick introduction. Vinny is an executive coach, international speaker, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, transformation facilitator, and podcast host with over 2 decades of experience and passion to help leaders build their CAR, which is communication, authenticity, and resilience. She brings in her wealth of experience from her tenures with Jet Airways, Singapore Airlines, Virgin Atlantic, to playing a key role at the Essar Group and now running a tight ship at Personage. Vinny is a self-coaching and a personal experience expert on Tata Sky Specials, a core team member of Young Forum YBF, a land presentation coach for India Demo Day, which is a startup conference initiative by D Labs, the incubator cell at Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. She delivers power packed and life transforming talks that equip you with the right tools to succeed and win over every aspect of life. She's a true believer of ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and a happy life. Vinny, thank you so much. And such a powerful profile, Vinny. And
It's still evolving, and again, I'm going to just sort of enter and say that there are a couple of very critical key things that have been missed out, and I'm sorry for that because, well, so with all of that, currently I have been very busy with my online portal, which is
hmm, hmm, hmm,
an
hmm.
online portal on professional excellence, and
Yeah.
that is taking up all of my attention, my passion, and all of that. And as of today, you can call me. Fairly, how do I say? I won't say successful just as yet, but I've just launched my first summit today, online summit, and we have had a thunderous response. So you can
Wow.
be a newbie summit host or a summit presenter, but I see this going a long way. Thank you.
Superb. Superb. I'm so happy. I can see that happiness on your face, Vinny. Super. I'm so excited to do this live with you. Now, Vinny, let me start my questions, and I want to start with one of the biggest art that people often miss. Uh, we always have seen people who always say yes to things. But when it comes to being productive and and not just being busy, why do you think it's extremely important to learn the art of saying no to people?
So, a lot of things actually, but I always try to work things from inside out. So, if you just looked at yourself, and I think we all go through this journey, right? We've all evolved in this journey. We have said no at times and we have really felt bad at the time and then we have felt relief. But we don't realize if we had said yes, we would have not felt the relief for very, very long. So the first thing I believe is that when you learn to say no, you're actually sharpening your own ability to understand what you really want, what you're really okay to do. So when you sharpen that kind of an ability, it allows you to stop second guessing yourself. Should I have said no? Should I have done this? Is he going to feel bad? Is she going to, not talk to me again? Won't she help me? So it's very important to say no, also to hone up your own ability to start identifying what you want to say no to and also what you want to put your efforts into. So I think that's one. The second thing is you'll be rid of all guilt because when you are aware of why you're saying no and you know how to say no, a large part of knowing how to say no means dealing with the fact that I've made up my mind and I've said no, and now I'm not going to feel guilty because this is what I want to do. So that's to sort of work with you. And then you also start making time for things which are a priority for you. We're always very happy to jump in to please others. And I think the art or the ability to say no starts explaining to you what you want to do for yourself also. So I would really come up from the point of view and an ability, and I think it's a very, very practiced skill. So all of us fall for it. All of us end up saying yes and we make regrets. At the same time, obviously, it does not mean that we shut our doors to just being kind, to just being there. So the reason you need to know why to say no, and the ability to say no also includes the ability to know what kind of things you want to say no to. And you're the best judge of that. So yeah, I think it'll help establish boundaries with people of what they can expect of you. That's very important because you may say yes today. We've all heard of you give the camel an inch, he takes an L. It's not the other person's fault then if they want a little bit more tomorrow. And then when you say yes after you've given when you say no after you've given an L, they're not prepared to hear that. You have set the tone and set the path for them to expect. And now you're saying no. So now suddenly, whatever you would have done between that inch to the L gets negated because you didn't say no when you needed to say no. So I think that's really critical. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a great perspective. And whenever it comes to being productive, rather than being busy, people do make their daily tasks. People have their to-do list, and people do all those things. Now, one thing that I've realized personally is one should know the difference between action and motion. Motion is something you are always busy, but action is something that will really help you reach where you want to reach in life. So when it comes to the context of being productive and not being busy, having a to-do list is very important in the action phase, not in the motion phase. I want to ask you, what do you think? How to create a perfect daily to-do list?
So I think it isn't something that you literally just think of tossing up today. Okay, come on, I've woken up today and I'm going to create my list for the day. I think it really comes from the whole longer perspective of what are the critical things in your life that you want to pursue. So first, identify what is it that's really, really important for you and what are your priorities. And when I say priorities, I think it often gets mistaken as anything that's urgent becomes a priority. And I think anything that's important is your priority, and you've got to constantly focus on trying to make sure that everything that's important to you never comes into the urgent zone. If it's important, you will take care of it anyway. So if you have to get something for your children or plan their birthday parties, you will do it well in advance. You're not going to suddenly get up on the day of the birthday and say, oh yeah, let me just plan the party because the kids are important. So that's an easy measure to know that what your priority is. So once you've identified what are the big things that are important for you, what your priorities are, it starts becoming easy to plot things on a to-do list, because what you do is you will identify the time estimates for the things you do. So you're not going to plot on your to-do more than you can actually realistically accomplish with your own skill sets and abilities within a day. And at the same time, you will map the things which are important, which are going out of the way, so there's no burden on your head. So if you asked me what's an effective to-do list, an effective to-do list will have activities that are going to support those goals of yours that are your priority and that are important to you. And also the timelines that you would have allocated to them will be the actual estimates of how much time it's going to take each day for you to establish that goal. And everything else you can plan around it. So for me, first there will be that critical blueprint, and then you will start plotting all the other factors within that, and you will find the time.
Brilliant. Now that also brings me to ask my next question, and that is, people, we have been hearing this since donkey years, that it's good to be busy. Be busy. Empty mind is devil's workshop. You have to be busy. But if you look at in today's day and age, I always feel that just being busy is not enough. You have to be productive. So I want to ask you, what's your perspective on why being busy is not a good thing at all? Why do you think that way?
I think, yes, the definition has suddenly become very, very important. I think when we also heard that we should be busy, everyone meant that don't keep your mind idle. But I think the reason one needs to be productive is being busy is being like this monkey in a jungle, right? There was this very cute story. I'd heard about a monkey and a tiger who were best friends. The monkey said, why is it that everybody listens to you, does everything that you say, and then no one listens to me, and I want to be in your place, and you call me your best friend, so let me rule the jungle for a day. And the tiger says, sure, you're my best friend and I love you. I'll let you rule the jungle. I mean, why a day? Take it for a month. So within the first day, suddenly there were problems and animals went to the monkey and said, hey, like, now that you're the king, you need to help us solve this problem, right? Someone has stolen our meat. What are you going to do about it? So there was this whole bunch of animals that go to the monkey, and monkey says, hold on. He goes up the tree and then he starts looking around, and then everyone thinks, oh my God, like he can climb the tree and he can look around and he can bring back the meat. He will know who's done it wrong. So he looks really, really like busy. Then he jumps to another tree and another tree and another branch. And you just know that on this particular leap, you will get the answer, but the whole day passes and there is no solution. And this goes on, similarly, there are things that happen and this goes on for a few days, and then they finally go and complain to the tiger that, hey, we can't work with this guy. He's not delivering. He's not doing anything. And sometimes what happens to us is we get involved in it. I mean, today I'm here, I'm talking to you. You've invited me to talk on productivity. But we're all guilty of this at some time or the other if we don't reset, if we don't take a step back and reset. So the way I see it is you need to know what actually productivity means for you, because if you are busy all the time, you're not finding time for yourself, and that's going to work on your on you mentally, emotionally, physically. You will not find time for others. That's going to work on you socially. So, and you'll always be busy, but you'll always feel inadequate because you've not got any outcomes. There's nothing tangible. There's no accomplishment. So you were busy. What were you busy doing? I was working, and what did you get? So there is never an accomplishment that I felt satisfied, or I earned money, or I managed to make these many people happy, or I managed to, no, there is never an outcome. There is always an activity. So I think that's the distinction. If we start to become more and more aware of making, then that whole definition of that busy, productive story happens, and then we don't want to be monkeys. Each one of us wants to rule the jungle. So being a tiger is great, but just for that, you've got to deliver outcomes. And the only way you can do that is by knowing that what parts of your life are critical for you. Again, I keep going back to what are your priorities, what is important. Friends are not important, family is not important, sure. Nobody else can determine what's important for you. But if you're constantly busy and not being able to take time out for things that matter to others, then maybe those things don't matter to you. So then stop fooling yourself. Or start completing your tasks, start accomplishing your end goals, and then start making time for yourself, your health, your friends, your family, and all the things that you really love to do. So that's the way I would look at the distinction.
Amazing. People who are watching us live, I'm just trying to look at the other monitor. Type in the comment, amazing, if you find this answer amazing. I love this answer, and especially the jungle story that you just shared with us. I really understand where you come from and what's your overall perspective on being busy. But we also need to understand that because we're working on building all walks of life, we are working on building all areas of life. How can we streamline our life and work and be more productive? We understood the self-awareness part of it. We need to have clarity. We need to be self-aware. But can you give step-by-step plan? Can you give something which my audience can go back and start implementing in order to streamline their life and work?
Okay, so I think that's a very good question, and I think that's very specific. I would again take it back to what I said earlier. First things, identify what is really important in your life, and make sure you park those priorities. Don't negotiate on them. Second, start discarding what's not important that you are really spending a lot of time in. Whether it's even taking really long to surf or go on Twitter and maybe just write. If that is not leading you to the end goal, it's not going to eventually make you happy, then that's the thing. I call it discard. You just discard that item from your life. If there is something that you need to do that you haven't done for a year already, but since the last 2 or 3 years, you're saying, one day I'm going to go meet that aunt. One day I'm going to clear up my closet. One day I'm going to go and shop at this place. So don't tell yourself that. If you haven't done it for a year, it shouldn't be on your plans anymore. You don't want to do it, or you would have made time to do it. So that's the very first thing. Learn to declutter, discard everything that you've not done for the last 1 year. I can assure you, you're not going to end up doing it unless it's enforced upon you and it's done on you. You are not doing it. So that's my very first one. Second one, whatever you do, start estimating what are the kind of timelines you're taking. So let's say, now of course it's COVID times, so the example won't be relevant. Let me look for a far relevant example. If I have to get onto a Zoom call, now I know that I've got to get onto a Zoom call at, today I was meeting you 5 minutes to 7, right? Or 7. I cannot suddenly decide that at 7 I will land up here and that's it. The show will start, right? So if I have to come here, I have to put in the time. Is my space okay? Am I dressed correctly? Is my mic okay? Is my laptop working? Now I haven't planned for this time, so I feel, hey, you know what? I'll continue doing what I'm doing, and then suddenly I'll go and see Jackson at 7. But by 7, I'm doing all the other things, and I've lost those 5-10 minutes, and then I might lose another 50 minutes to 1 hour explaining to Jackson after the talk, hey, I'm so sorry, you won't believe this is what happened. Then after I hang up and I explain to you, I'll spend another 2 hours thinking, would he have felt bad? Will he tell 20 other people? So that one little thing is going to take you like to spend another, you chase that guilt, you chase that whole notion of not being able to estimate your time. When we want to go out, how much time does it take to call the elevator, walk down? We just say, okay, the Uber's coming. It takes me 20 minutes to reach to work. But the Uber comes, maybe there's a little diversion, you're taking the lift, you're going down, you're walking to where it is. Do you account for those 5-10 minutes? And all of that is a domino effect. Something as simple as that, doing your accounts. I want to do my accounts every week. I sit down and do the accounts with my accountant. And then suddenly you're not spending that. You're saying, oh, it's just a half an hour thing. And then you realize it's not a half an hour thing because you've spent half an hour telling your accountant why you can't see him that day. And then it becomes another 1 hour thing. And then, so I think the idea is you need to close. If you want to really talk about a to-do list, like you said, your to-do list should be really, really crisp. It should only be for the day, which means you accomplish what's on the previous day, or it gets carried forward. So I think what I would say is that declutter, discard, so you're not bearing the burden of something that's never going to happen. Why are you carrying that? It's like you never want to wear these clothes, but you're just carrying them around because, oh, well, I have the clothes. Throw them, you'll be able to run faster. Estimate. I think time estimates are very critical. And then what you said, yes, I know I covered self-awareness, but it involves a few things. Find out what are the things that are important to your end goal that you do really well. And when you know that those are the things you do really well and you do fast, then you stick to those. And the things that you don't do well, that you're not fast at, that somebody else can do for lesser time and honestly, notionally lesser money, just get somebody to assist you on it. Because a lot of us want to do everything ourselves. And that's where the challenge arises. And I'm guilty as well. I have this habit of, since you obviously articulated the whole thing, jumping from one to the other. But I will always only jump in for the first project. Like my summit, I have been a part of everything. Maybe even if I had to put a screw, I would have done it myself, into a mic or something. It was important then. But if I continue to do this all the time, then I like the mundane. Then I should stop crying about I don't have time. I'm doing exactly what I love to do. So it's okay, because even that's satisfaction. So don't fool yourself. I think that is a very important takeaway I'd like to tell you. I'll really find out that, is it really a waste? If you like being on Twitter, it's making you happy, or on Insta, is it really then a waste of time? Ask yourself. If you think it's not a waste of time, don't do it. If you think it's a waste of time, if you think it's not good for you, then your answer is with you. Otherwise, stop expecting your partners or your children to do what you're. If you don't listen to yourself, why are you so hell-bent on having people listen to you, or your partners listen to you, or your children listen to you, right? So I think respect your own word. If you think this is not working for you and you're guilty, don't do it. If it's working for you, and even if the whole world thinks it's wrong, ignore and continue to do it. So I think those would be my takeaway, which is discard, very important. Estimate the times. So delegate, start sharing and keep an end goal, end time. So whatever you set out to do on your to-do list, it is only an activity, and it is only something that's going to be there if you don't set an end goal to it. Like if you don't say by by Thursday evening or by Friday morning, I will go and shop for, this phone that I had to buy. If you're not, I will buy a phone someday. And we all joke about it, right? When people give us this thing that I'll catch you sometime. What does that mean? They're blowing you off. So every time you say, I'll do it, kar lunga, I'll manage. You're basically blowing off that work. It's not going to happen. So in your mind, if you have a specific date, that's important. So obviously, like I said, discard, estimate, put an end date to things, learn to delegate. And then there is one which is, all of us will relate to one or the other point that we need to do. My one is shrink. And I've worked very hard on it for the last 6-7 years. I used to have a major perfectionism OCD problem, and everything I had to do right. And it was just, this whole 20-80 rule is so beautiful. So you need to know, if I'm going to lay the spoons out straight, is it going to give me that 80% result? Or if it's taking away my 15 minutes and just making sure everything is fine, and I'm not going to get a result, I need to shrink it. I need to just toss the spoons away. I need to just send out that email. If I'm communicating with somebody and I'm formatting things and I'm making it look, you need to send an email, just crisp 4 lines is fine. That if you feel, oh, let me just make it design, or let me make it, or even a simple presentation, you need to know where you need to shrink your work, which is like the down and dirty version. So not everything has to look like a garden of roses. Some things can just look like the soil. And that's what you need to know. What is it that doesn't need to look as perfect? Your sticky notes, they're your notes. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have them really neatly put down that everything should look perfect. It's your notes. Nobody is even looking at it. So these are the few things. And I'm sure similarly we have that. I think one great way to also be productive is to stop expecting things and stop expecting from others things that are only going to make you keep feeling bad about the fact that they're not giving you something, because that thought, and I've done this experiment. Okay, I think negative thoughts are so entertaining and they're so engaging. You may be happy about a party. You tell me about a party. We will talk about it for 10 minutes and we'll be fine. But if I have to tell you about something negative and start on a spiral, I can go on. You can go on. We can all go on for like 2-3 hours. Like, wow, this was like very interesting, very intellectual. So I think we need to stop intellectualizing and capitalizing on negatives, and we need to start, if we want to be productive. I think you're doing the talk for those who are asking you how to be productive. So productivity is not that you spend 4 hours with somebody and came back with quality nothing. You spend 4 hours, you come back with quality positivity. But you spend 4 hours and you don't feel great, or you don't feel hollow, then ask yourself if this is where you want to spend your time again. And similarly for the movies or any activity.
Amazing. That sounds so interesting and so easy to implement, but people don't do it. See, I'll tell you what I have always believed: people don't know what to do because of 2 reasons. A, they don't know how to do it, or they don't want to do it. Now I just want to pick the first part. In the last 4 questions we've spoken about the difference between being productive and being busy. We've spoken about clarity and self-awareness. I always feel that everything in life is learnable. Life is a learnable skill. You can learn anything in life. Now that we've understood the real difference between being productive and being busy, and we need to have a great to-do list, and we need to focus on the right things, discard and reset all the steps that you've given. What is your take on the skills that is required to do all these things? Because it just can't be a wish. I want to be productive. If I say that won't happen. I need to have the right skills to ensure that whatever is planned is executed, right? So what do you think, what are the right skills required to become more productive than being just busy all the time?
So I think a lot of it, Jackson, you covered really well with your questions, right? So first was the art of saying no. The art of saying no to yourself, your indulgences, and the art of saying no to others. So I think if you really got good at the art of, and it is a practiced skill, it's very, I think if it wasn't a practice skill, we'd all be very blunt and rude to each other. So I don't think we should beat ourselves over it. We can practice it regularly and we will get better, and we'll still fumble, but we'll continue to get better. It's like a muscle. Any skill is like a muscle. The more you utilize it, the more you practice it, the better you get at it. So I think that is very critical. Self-awareness in terms of mindfulness. Like you really, really need to tell yourself what you want. What is your version of productive? So, like I keep saying, define. And that is the hard work you will have to do, because I can love to, I can talk and Jackson will talk and many other books will be written. But if you don't take that pen and paper or sit in front of your keyboard and start writing, what is it that's important to you and by when you want to accomplish it, that is not. So you need to really have goal setting skills. That's really, really, really critical. So define for yourself those. That's why, and the way you will be able to do it is by noticing what's making you happy, what's giving you outcome. We often get absorbed in things which eventually we feel guilty about. Again, I'll give you a very quick example. So I used to run very regularly, and then there were parties, and I used to party very regularly. But when I took to running and partying is like a divorce. It's not even a divorce in the making; it's a divorce from day one, because runners in India will run in the mornings normally. So if you want to run at 5 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the morning, you can't be partying till 4 o'clock in the night. I have had occasions, and I'm talking about 10 years ago, when parties like those really exquisite parties were far and few. I've had to choose between a regular morning run and a really good party. And I started noticing, you want to be seen, you want to go and hang with your friends, but I started noticing that whenever I missed my run, I would go into this whole trauma of guilt. And then I would see pictures my friends would post on the thing. I'm like, oh, I missed today's day. The sky was the best. It just kept making me feel horrible. So sometimes I said no to the parties. And the next day, when everyone spoke of those parties and it was all over the papers and everything, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like I missed out. So to me, running became important. But to you, Jackson, maybe partying is. So you don't have to endorse what a majority or a large person that you think is really cool endorses. You need to be aware, I love to party, then leave the running. It doesn't matter. We don't have to go by the boundaries and preferences of everyone that we admire. We got to know who we are. So identify that. That is really important. So your mindfulness and self-awareness skills are important, extremely important. Accountability. If you start building that, if you become accountable to yourself and to your surroundings, because when you're busy, you'll never find time. And when you're actually busy, like which is busy in the true sense of the word, you will always have time. You will always have time. Whenever someone calls, yes, I'm free, tell me. Even though you'll be in the middle of a lot of things. So I think that accountability is very important. When you tell yourself, yes, this is the time or this is the word I've given and I will accomplish it. And the word you said, Jackson, you said there is a difference between, basically being productive is having action, and being in motion is different. So action orientation. It's don't keep discussing all the things one needs to do and making long to-do lists. You know what? Just make 5 and finish that, and then make another 5 if you must. But start identifying, does a short to-do work, long to-do work, but then start doing, because we can write a book on to-dos. But that's not the end goal. So to-do list is to help you finish. So if constantly planning is not letting you progress, then stop the planning. It's progress over perfection. Just start getting things done and more will happen, and get things done and more will happen. And as you keep accomplishing, you will start becoming very reluctant to give up on that achievement. You will not want to lose your productivity, because now you want to look good, you want to work out, feel good, you want to be social, and then you want to feel like, wow, I am something, I'm accomplishing everything. And it's not very hard if you do it diligently. Discipline. Sorry, that's a very critical one. Just very small steps. You don't have to become a saint on day one, right? Just take small steps and start building that muscle of courage, discipline, that muscle of doing things consistently, and productivity will follow.
Brilliant. I mean, this is so insightful. Thank you, Vinee. Our time is up. It's 7:32. Thank you so much, first of all, for being on the show. You had a crazy schedule. I know it. You've been very busy, and but I'm very happy that you could be on the show. Before I let you go, how can people contact you? What are your social media handles? If you can just share with us. I've also displayed on the ticker. You can follow Vinee on LinkedIn. I hope that's correct, Vinee. That's your LinkedIn. You can follow Vinee on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can just go to YouTube and find her, and you can get her videos.
Yes,
So
and if
yeah,
you are having any rethink on your career, I'm sorry, Jackson, I should say this
yeah,
because I'm doing something so amazing and if everyone can benefit. If you're
sure.
having a rethink on your careers, if you're having a rethink on, let's say, hiring others or on, on finding jobs for yourselves, then between today and tomorrow, you can actually find me hosting my summits. If you go on my page, you will get details. But we have, it's not me as speaker this time, I'm doing Jackson's role, but I'm interviewing a bunch of really, really accomplished and in the field talent acquisition experts and business leaders and from across the corporates. So if any of you is having a rethink, feel free to join. It's free to sign up. The idea is to just make information available to everyone who wants to make an informed
So
decision.
where can people go and sign up? Can you give us a link? I'll just display on the ticker. What's the link?
Yeah.
Where can people go?
So if you just, can I give you the link on this chat? Do you think that you can
Yeah,
do on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. Put me
Yeah,
on the chat.
I'll give it
Yeah,
to you on the chat.
yeah.
Once
Put me on the
I
chat.
have
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So this is where, although of course today's day, 12 hours are gone already, but
Okay.
yeah, but I've kept it open. I've only kept it open because we have received such spectacular response, which we were not expecting. So it's a very good thing. But I think my speakers are just amazing. So they have uh, really crystallized everything so well. So catch it if any of you are on that at that point in your life. Go
Yeah.
ahead, use this link and sign up, and it's free. And take whatever takeaways you can from it.
Yeah. I like the domain. Go lead the future outcome. That's good.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. So thank you so much, Vinee. Thank you so much to all the viewers. We're getting amazing comments. I'm reading on YouTube. I'm reading on Facebook. So thank you so much. If you've liked this video, you know what to do. You have to like, comment, and share. Share this video with people so that we are able to reach out to many who are in need of such training, such learnings. And to all the viewers, I come live every Monday, every Friday at 7 p.m. You know this, and you can follow me on this link on Facebook and be updated about my upcoming shows. So that's it for today. Thank you so much, Vinee. Have a good evening,
Thank you,
and
Jackson, and thank you, everyone.
I wish you all the best for your summit. Do well. I'm sure you
Thank
will.
you. Thank you. Wish you all the best too.
Bye bye.
Bye.